So many narcissism survivors out there is just saying like, Miles, how do I set boundaries? How do I make them stick? Well, here's my response to that. Setting a boundary is just like creating a fence around your heart and one around your mind. And what we want to do is end up showing those narcissistic people in our lives how we deserve to be treated. And in defending boundaries, what we're actually doing is standing up for ourselves. And boundaries, they're like that little secret sauce that you use to attract, healthy relationships and help keep healthy relationships strong. And it doesn't even matter how long you've known that person. You could have known them for years. Boundaries will help you improve every relationship. It's never too late to start laying down those boundaries, especially for a narcissist. Yes, they won't like them, not one bit, which tells you something that it's working. Because the truth is, they're not supposed to like it. So who cares? So maybe they throw down a temper tantrum or 37 in a row until it finally sinks in for them. But at the 38th time, they'll see what you mean. They'll see that you mean business. Now, throughout my feed and throughout my channel, we always dive deep into the world of self-development. And this video is no different because the importance of improving yourself is incredibly important in narcissism recovery. Because it's all about taking care of ourselves, showing ourselves some self-love, and making those changes that will help level up our lives. And here's the secret. Narcissists, they don't actually want us to love ourselves. They want to be the only supply of love from anyone in the world, which is why they isolate, which is why they alienate. They want you to be dependent on one person for love and affection. But you're a person, which means you can give yourself love and affection. And the second we learn to apply self-love to ourselves, they lose their power. They lose their control over us. And it's not like we were born with like a boundary setting manual that we grew up with. Nobody taught us this stuff. So we end up developing these codependent coping strategies. We become people pleasers, always afraid to say no and avoid any kind of confrontation. And in fact, many of us have had narcissistic parents. And for a narcissistic parent to teach their child boundaries, well, that would take their power away. And I hope you understand that in some small way that those new coping strategies that we created to survive our childhoods have made us into people pleasers to make our parents happy. And then as we grow up, as we get older, we become people pleasers to everyone, trying to make everyone happy. Everyone except for us. And we end up being the only ones that are unhappy here. But guess what? Today we're going to learn how to set boundaries like a pro. And by the end of this video, every narcissist that's in your life is just going to be sitting there scratching their heads and they're just going to be wondering, what happened? I don't understand. They won't actually know what hit them. And when it comes to boundaries, those narcissistic people in our lives, they just never got the memo. Never got the memo that boundaries actually exist, that boundaries are real. And narcissists, they're a lot like these little, boundary breaking ninjas that are just constantly finding ways to slip through the cracks and never respect anyone else's opinion but their own. But here's the deal. You have to set boundaries with a narcissist. It's an absolute must and it's a non-negotiable. And you're also going to want to know when those narcissists have crossed the line in the first place. And in my own story, it's just like quite often I didn't realize it was happening until it was too late. It was just like, oops, did I just miss something? And me personally, I let narcissistic people say and do all sorts of unacceptable stuff. And deep down, I knew it wasn't right. But I was clueless on how to handle the situation. I found myself, making excuses for them, thinking that we're all human and stuff. And I make mistakes. So maybe they just made a mistake. Maybe this was just a one-time thing. And then when those one-time things turn into 2 million time things, well, there's a pattern there. And it takes a while, but eventually I did see the pattern. I hope you like this clip from my boundary video. The link to the full video is in the descriptions.